Henry here, and this is the first video for the private clarity call script. So in this video, I'm just going to be going over the intro, how it generally works, just to help you guys out. All right. So just a bit of background of my experience with the script. Right. So this script, I've probably been using it for the past month and a half. Right. It's based off one of my mentor scripts, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And this script is what allowed me to close my one platinum package, right? And one standard package along with, a fairly good amount of 2K Zon Ninja packages as well, right? Because it really helps you establish that frame in terms of, having that authority, having that status as a success manager, right? And just getting rid of their objections in the beginning, because if you look over here, right, you actually ask a couple questions, you actually help them get rid of those objections, like I don't think this is enough, I don't think Kevin Davis is legit, I don't think he's able to help me, this is too much, I don't have enough for budget, right? All those things, right? Instead of going 50 to an hour into the call and then having them say, oh, I don't have the money, right? Like no one wants that. Like no one wants that to happen because it's a total waste of time, right? So this script allows you to find that out pretty much in the first 10 minutes or so. So you save your time and you do what's important, right? So starting off the intro, pretty straightforward intro. Just saying your name. Hey, Bob, this is Henry from Kevin Davis Success Team, right? The reason for our call today is we noticed you booked 15 minutes on our private calendar to just discuss how we can help you get your Amazon FBA business started. Is that right? So that's a good way to do it, right? Personally, how I would approach it is I would just go with, hey Bob, this is Henry from Kevin Davis Team. How's it going? Just something like that, because you're on inbounds, right? They booked a call with you. It's okay to ask how it's going. And then I just ask them, okay, do you remember booking this call with us? Right? Because sometimes they're not sure if you remember. And also a good question I like to ask during the intro is what motivated you to book the call with us, right? Because that pretty much replaces this question. Where are you located? What do you do for a living? Because in the beginning of the call, you ask them what they do for a living. They might not be that keen on opening up to you, right? So if you ask them, okay, so what motivated you to book the call with us? They're just going to go, oh yeah, okay, so right now I'm a contractor, right? I'm an architect, but I'm working too much. They pretty much tell you about their goals and pain right off the bat. And you can get a little bit more idea on that. And if they are still pretty closed, I like to ask them, okay, so, why learn Amazon, right? Out of there's so many businesses, why Amazon and why Kevin David, right? Just leveraging the influencer, leveraging the business itself, right? And then they'll open it up. They'll open, okay, yeah, so I'm currently doing this. Amazon, great opportunity, all those type of things, right? So they'll say that to you as well. And yep, this is important as well. You always want to go deep into what they say. So one thing is if they say something about, oh, okay, yeah, I like Amazon because, I like the time freedom. Let's say, for example, right, get a laptop lifestyle, do whatever I want, right? So what I would do is I would actually say, okay, so laptop lifestyle, okay, so why is that so important for you, right? Because many people, they're okay working in an office, right, 8 hours a day for the rest of their life, right? So personally for you, why do you find just having that freedom, having that time to do whatever you want be so important? And they can even go a bit into their goals, like what do you want to do with that time? Right? What do you see yourself doing? Just a little bit, right? In the beginning, getting them to open up. That's personally what I would do. You can follow the script, you can do whatever you want. I'm just sharing what I would personally do in this section. And this is leveraging the webinar. Right? Personally, I only get on the call with people who watch the training, right? If they haven't watched the training, you just go, hey, yeah, so this call is strictly reserved for people who have watched the training. Just be totally cool about it, right? But you have to say it with certainty. So this call, Bob, right, is only reserved for people who watch the training. So what I'll do is I'll send you over that training for you to check out, right? And just let me know when you have it watched, all right? And, if they try to fight with you on that, they're like, no. So someone actually once on my call, there's a guy who called me a monkey because, he was really angry about how, I was forcing him pretty much. Not really forcing him, but I was pressuring him to watch the video. So I just got off, right? Those people aren't a good fit. So outbound intro. So we covered the inbound intro. Outbound intro is, I would say, pretty different. That's the biggest difference in this script. Intros between inbound and outbound. So your outbound intro, what you really want to do is you want to get their attention, right? You want to get their attention because and you don't want to sound like a normal salesperson, right? So what this intro really does, right, is you say something, but instead of pitching them, instead of going like, hey Bob, this is Henry. I'm one of Kevin Davis' success managers. We saw you watch we saw you watch the training. Why don't you buy? Right? Instead of saying that, which is really salesy, they're going to hang up on you, right? You approach it like, okay, hey Bob, this is Henry. I'm one of Kevin Davis' success managers. And I just noticed that you watched the webinar, but you didn't get a chance to speak with anyone from our team yet. Were you able to watch the whole webinar? So 2 things I like to do in this case. You can either use this, where you're able to watch the whole webinar, or you can say, it wasn't something on our end, was it? Right? And then it kind of gets them away from, oh, Kevin David, oh, this guy's trying to sell me, right? It gets them away from that mindset and into, oh yeah, a call. Wait, I was given the opportunity to schedule a call. So it gets them thinking about something else, which is what you want, right? So pretty much anything here can just be a question. Just a question to get them thinking about anything other than you pressuring them to sell your product, right? So it can be any question here, but generally it was something on our end, or were you able to watch the whole webinar? That generally works best, all right? And if you do decide to go back through this path, which is good, if they have watched the webinar, you leverage it. You say, okay, so what stood out to you? What did you like about it? And why did you like that? I always want to ask them why. And if they didn't watch the webinar, because you're doing outbounds and you get the freedom of calling as many people as you want every day, if they haven't watched the webinar, just send the webinar link. Like, don't waste your time. All right. Some closers, especially those who are just starting out, they're always like, so if I talk to this guy, I have to close them. If I don't close them, I'm a bad closer. And they start dragging themselves and in that pit, right? You never want to do that. Like when I got started, I did that as well, right? I was like, oh, I'm talking to this guy, I have to close him, or I have to get him on follow-up, right? That's not how it works. If they haven't watched the training, just remember there's so many people out there, right? There's 8 billion people in the world, right? Especially when it comes to outbound too. There's so many thousands of leads, right? So if they haven't watched the webinar, just whatever, it's all good, right? Just tell them, send them the webinar link, just say, okay, yeah, Sean suggests you check out the webinar, something like that. And sometimes when you do that, you go like, check out the webinar. If they're really interested, they'll actually check out the webinar and get back to you. So that's the plus side of doing that. So if they have watched the webinar, again, you want to leverage the webinar, what you like about it and why. And this part, right, I actually like it to keep it to 15 minutes because some people don't have that time, right? So I would say you can do 30 minutes if you like, right? But I would just do excellent. So Kevin allows us to take up, up to 15 to 30 minutes just to see how we can help you get your Amazon business started. Are you available for, let's say, the next 15, 30 minutes or so to see how I can help? Just something short about that, like that. So that's the intro section. I'll see you guys in the next training.